Alright, so in this video I'm going to write the speed of sound, where it's measuring the speed of sound in air, water, and steel. And then I'm going to write this freezing and boiling points program. So I'm going to go through as fast as I can, but this is probably going to take a little bit of time, alright? So you've got air, which travels at 1,100 feet per second, water 4,900 feet per second, and steel 16,400 feet per. So this is the sound. That's how fast it travels in these different mediums. Design a class that stores in a distance field the distance in feet traveled. The class should have the appropriate accessor and mutator. Now, again, these were written for Java, but I can still do them in Python. So when you see, mutator, accessor, accessors are called, I think, fruitful functions in Python, but I like call accessor. So get speed. It should return the number of seconds in what it would take. So there's going to be a lot of different ways to write this thing, and so I'm actually going to show you the first way to do it, and then I'm going to switch it up after I'm done and show you how you kind of might want to combine methods, using if-else statements, and then you don't have to do, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So file, save as, main speed of sound. Okay, so let's think this through. So we need, in all of these different different calculations. So time is distance divided by 1100. So we need the user to enter in a distance variable. So that's the first thing we got to do. So I'm going to say, I'm going to say distance equals, and then we'll use a float input. And I'll say what? Enter the distance. Okay. And then I want to be able to I'm going to return the time. Let me think here. So it's telling me they want get speed in air. So I'll do define get speed in air, and then I need to pass in the distance here, distance, and then I can just do time equals distance divided by 1100, and then I will return the time. Now we've got some issues here because all these are gonna look the same. So this one's gonna be get speed in what, water, and this is gonna be what, 4,900, and then get speed in steel. This will be what, 16,400. So we're using this time variable in every single one of these. So I'm going to make time a global variable. So I'll say global time. And that would define it over all of these. Else I'd have to define time inside every single method here, okay? Or sorry, function. All right. So we've got that. Now we got to call these things. So I'm just going to do a print, and I'll say speed in, or wait, total time in air plus, we'll do an str, and we'll do get speed in air and pass in the distance. So that's that, and then we want to do a plus, and it'd be like total time in air 20, and then we'll do seconds. Yeah. I'll make this a little bit bigger so I can see the page behind it, make sure I'm entering the right formulas and stuff. So that would call speed in air. That would then return the time. I think, I don't know, I'm going to test this out here in a minute. And this is going to be in water. Speed in water. And then this one's going to be steel. Speed in air, speed in steel. Get speed in steel, so I pass in that and I get this. So let's watch this real quick. Run, and let's make sure this works. Ah! Print. Okay, so let's try this then. Let's see if I can narrow this down a little bit. Ugh. What's going on with this? Seems like there's extra space somewhere. End of file while parsing. Still. I might pause it and then play with this for a minute. Just a second. Alright, I figured out the problem. And the only thing I don't like about IDLE is if you're kind of like, it does kind of tell you where the problem is, but when you compile, but I feel like it's not as, it doesn't give you as good a job as something like NetBeans or something like that in Java. But the problem was, I opened the get speed in air and I closed it, and I opened up this string, but I never closed the string. So I was getting this end of file while parsing, and so anyway, I didn't want to waste anybody's time here. It only took a few minutes for me to figure it out, but anyway, I didn't want to waste your time on the video. Alright, so let me run it. Okay, cool, so it works. So let's say I did, I don't know, 10,000. Okay, so 10,000 divided by 1100. Oh, I know what the problem is. So 10,000 divided by 1100 is going to be 9.09. Okay, but when I was testing it, I commented this stuff out to see if I can narrow it down. This wasn't obviously the problem, but you know, that's kind of a good idea to comment out code that, try to narrow it down to what exact line is the problem. Ugh, more problems. Let's see here. Get speed in water is not defined. Oh, yep. Gotta put an R at the end there. So run. So air. Okay, I have two of them because what I did was I cut these out, copied them in a notepad, and then when I copied them back in, I didn't remove that line. So All right, so this should, and then we can mathematically check this. So we know that first one's right. How about the second one? 10,000 divided by 4,900. 2.04, and then 10,000 divided by 16,400. 0.60975. Okay, so that's good. So I don't know. One of the big things in programming is you want to reuse code, and so in each of these you're returning time and you're setting time and you're calling 3 different methods, but maybe you could do it like this and only have one method. And like I said, there are, there's not one right or necessarily wrong answer in how to program. It's just how you kind of see the problem. And it's a little bit frustrating when they tell you you have to program it like this, because when I originally thought how to do this, I would just do something like this. And I'm going to add this into the conditions program, because right now we're not using any if-else statements, conditions. But what we could do is we could just have define get distance, and we could accept the distance, and let's say we're trying to do the medium, right? Because you'd ask what the medium is: air, water, or steel. And if you have that variable, then you can do some cool stuff with it. So instead of having this here below, now these are comments, it's not going to read this. You could then have another question: medium is equal to input please enter the medium, air, water, steel. And then you would do what? You would do, how do I want to do this now? You could do print I don't even know if I want to do a print. I don't know, you could just do get distance and then do a, let's fix that, we'll pass in the distance and the medium right there, and then we would do something like if medium is equal to air, time equals distance divided by 1100. And then we could say what, print, we could do like print this. Alright. And then we could do, like elif medium is equal to what, water. We could say time is equal to distance divided by 4,900, and then we could print this guy right there. Else, now whatever, time equals, now if they put in something wrong here, this is going to screw up, but I don't really care about this right now at this juncture of where we're at in the class. So I'll just say time equals distance. I'm going to assume the user enters in proper data, and they were going to enter in steel here. Then I would do this right here. And so let me see this now. I think this works, but I don't know. Equals equals. We gotta check. So the one equal sign checks or assigns something. Equal equals checks for equality. So run that. So distance is 10,000, and let's say we have air. Ah! It's wrong. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to delete this and delete that. I'm going to run this again because I want to narrow down what the problem is. So 10,000 air. So distance medium. Okay. Line 17, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 17. Probably get distance line 4. I think here. Oh yeah, duh, because this is getting the yeah, we can't do it like that. We need to do time. Duh. Sorry about that. We just need the time right there for each of these. Because remember, I had commented those out, and then I actually even deleted them, so it's trying to call a method that obviously doesn't exist anymore. Okay, no problem. Alright, there's our 9.09. Okay, cool. So if we run it again, you know, and we did what? Water. We should get this 2.04. Cannot convert string to float. Did I do something wrong here? Run. Distance 10,000. Water. I think what I did is I typed water right there. Anyway, that's correct. And so yeah, I type water. So if I type steel right here, I'm trying to type steel, which is a string, into a float distance, and that screws everything up. So that's what I did. So do that, and then I'll do this, and then type steel. So, and that was the same too. So this program works, and we're good on this one. So again, it doesn't really matter, but this is implementing if-else statements, and then I can put it all in one function. And so, I don't know. Does it fulfill everything we do in here? Yes. Do I need 3 functions? Not necessarily. So there is room for interpretation in programming, and for you to be kind of, free to be creative and to do these things how you want, okay? Alright, so this next one's kind of a long one, but we'll make it go by quickly. All right. So, and I'm not gonna ask the user to enter in information. There's too many functions. There's too many numbers. I'll show you how I'll do this one. So I'm gonna close that. I'll do it. Just open up a brand new one. So I'll say file new, file save as. What's this called? This one is called what? Freezing boiling point. So I'm going to call it main freezing. Freezing. Let me make sure. Freezing and boiling point. Okay, cool. So, whoops, wrong one. Main freezing boiling. I'll just call it that. Alright, so it looks like we're given some information that ethanol freezes at less than 173 or below, and it boils at 172 or above. Oxygen, and you guys can read the numbers, alright? So, is ethyl, this method should return the Boolean value true if the temperature stored in the temperature field is at or below the freezing point of, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. So if it's freezing, it returns true. If it's boiling, true. If it's not freezing, false. Boiling, not boiling false, and for all of these. So I'm going to write a bunch of different methods, and so let me think here. And these are the methods that they want to use. So I am going to just do print. And again, I'm not going to ask the user for information here, just because there's a lot of different stuff here. So I will say Ethel is freezing at negative 173, and I am going to pass in, actually I'm going to get, and I'm going to call it, what is Ethel? Is Ethel freezing? And I'm going to pass in negative 173. Okay. And then I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy that. Ethel is boiling at positive 172. And I'm going to say, is Ethel boiling 172? All right. And then I'm going to say, what's up next? Oxygen. And oxygen is what? Negative 362. And it boils at negative 306. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is accurate or not, by the way, so I won't go make any scientific predictions based off this. But either way, we're going to write what we've got. A lot of stuff is not necessarily the programmer's job to come up with formulas. It's, you know, they're the ones just implementing what they're told, kind of. So 32, and it boils at 212. So, and this isn't ethyl, is oxygen, and then is water, freezing, negative 1, wait, now I gotta change up the numbers. Water needs to be at what, 32 and 212. Negative 173, 172, negative 362, negative 306, 32, 212. Alright, so now I gotta write all these different methods. So define is ethyl. Copy this, see. And then it gets passed in, and I'm just going to call it temp for temperature. This would be what, boiling. So this one would be what is oxygen. So oxygen is oxygen freezing, is oxygen boiling, is water freezing, is water boiling. Alright, so now I gotta do my if-else statements. So if the what? If the temp is what? Less than or equal to negative 173. Then return true. What else? Else return false. Alright, negative 172, is it freezing? So boiling, it needs to be not less than, but greater than or equal to 172. And then this would be, what, negative 362. And then is oxygen boiling? That'd be greater than or equal to negative 306. And this would be water less than or equal to 32. And what, greater than or equal to 212. Alright, I think this should all return true here. And I need to put pluses in there before I get errors. So let me run this run module. Okay, so whoops. Sorry, I swear in my other languages in my head, they're lowercase. Try this. Run. Alright, is negative 173 less than or equal to 173 true? Yeah, so they're all true, right? Is 172 greater than or equal to? Yeah. So, if you don't trust your work here, do, negative 200. Do, a positive 200. Do a negative 400. And do something greater than this, so I don't know, negative 300. And then do is it freezing? 0. And is it boiling? 300 or whatever. True, 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 true. And let's try some falses, alright? So let's do, I don't know, 50. Is it boiling at 50? If it's less, is it great? No, 50. So, I don't know, 50, 50, 50, is it freezing? And is it boiling at 50? No. So, I think all those will be false. Let's see. False. Oh, wait a second. Boiling, oxygen boils at negative. So then I need to do what? Negative 310. Oxygen boiling. Let's do negative 310. No, we need to do like negative 300, so it needs to be less than. Sorry about that. That should be all. What did I do? Negative 3. Am I doing this wrong? Oxygen is boiling if the temperature is greater than, and what did I do? Negative 300. That is hotter. Okay, so then do negative 310. Let's try that. Because that's not greater than. Alright, there we go. All false. So that works. Alright. So anyway, these programs should help you kind of think through if-else statements and, your writing functions and entering information stuff. So anyway, this video is done.